Economists don't understand residential real estate very well, and they're scratching their collective heads over why prices keep rising when interest rates are high. Well, here's a couple of simple things to help them out. One is that, historically, there's no evidence that rising interest rates lead to falling property prices. There's actually nothing unusual about what's currently happening. But the key factor is that we have very high demand for real estate, fueled by record population growth, at a time of incredibly low supply. Now, the rental shortage is well documented in media. But another statistic that depicts undersupply is the incredibly low level of listings in many parts of the nation. The number of homes for sale is at dramatically low levels in many places. In June, the number of national residential property listings decreased by 8.3% compared to May. Now, part of that was a 13% decline in the number of new listings of homes for sale, according to SQM research. Notably, all major cities experienced a decrease in their listings of homes for sale in June. Adelaide recorded the largest monthly decrease in total listings, falling by over 15%. Melbourne and Perth were next, both recording decreases of 12%. Perth recorded the largest annual decrease in property listings, that's 32% down year on year, while Adelaide, Brisbane and Darwin also had big falls in the number of homes for sale. The data on listings correlates generally with the results we're seeing with price growth. The cities with the biggest declines in the number of properties for sale, that's Perth, Adelaide and Brisbane, are the ones with the major escalation in prices. Cities where listings remain higher than a year ago, like Melbourne, Canberra and Hobart, they're the ones who are the weakest performers on price growth recently. In Melbourne, for example, listings are 12% higher than a year ago, and Melbourne has recorded very little in the way of price growth in the past 12 months. So it illustrates yet again that we don't have a single property market in Australia, but lots of local markets doing different things. And it also shows that supply and demand factors will override other issues, such as high interest rates. Now, a new factor is coming into the equation, and that's the federal government's tax cuts, which are likely to add to demand and put further upward pressure on prices by increasing people's borrowing capacity. According to an analysis done by Shaw Financial, borrowing capacity would increase by 4% for those with an income of $90,000 and 5% or more for those with an income of $100,000 or more. According to Mortgage Choice, the borrowing capacity of a buyer with a $100,000 income should increase by about $25,000, while someone earning $150,000 a year could borrow about $37,000 more. In the meantime, the capacity of Australians to cut through all the barriers and buy real estate is shown in the lending figures, including the rise in the size of the average loan, which now sits at $625,000. Now, Sally Tyndall, Research Director at comparison website Rate City, says over the last 2 years, buyers have seen their maximum borrowing capacity plummet, that's before the recent tax cuts, in some cases by hundreds of thousands of dollars as a result of the RBA hikes, and yet the average new loan size has hit a new record high. And Tyndall says it's astounding to think that owner-occupiers are on average taking out larger loans than ever before, despite the fact that the cash rate is sitting at a 12-year high. Well, maybe it's not so astounding after all, given that demand from owner-occupiers and from investors remains high and supply continues to be low, which is putting further upward pressure on prices.